Hey, what's up, guys? This is Ed, and I'm doing these. It's weird. I'm just kind of doing these streams. Like, oh, how come all of a sudden you're popping up and you know trying to do videos of yourself playing guitar and all this other stuff? When's the new music coming out? Whatever, And truth be told, ever since I became a dad, it's just been kind of hard for me to really keep on the grind because yeah, man, real world. I've been trying to keep a career or whatever you want to call it, or a really good job. What it boils down to is I've got a couple jobs, and when one isn't busy, I can always fall onto the next one. Um, but like it's got its perks. Like the freelance thing can, if I stay busy, I can make things happen. But I ended up becoming a construction worker, doing permanent AV install stuff, and it's a union gig, so I got benefits that would be really expensive to cover if I were to go gig life. Um, and for a family of three, four, whatever, to keep something like that on the freelance side would be pretty expensive. I'd really have to be busy. Um, but this whole music thing hasn't left me. I started picking up my guitar because of trying to practice doing this. This whole like video thing, it's teaching me it's teaching me how to hopefully speak better in a public setting like this, on a candid public setting like this. And like if I'm on a live gig and I have to do like a voice of God or voiceover thing, I always tell the clients, you better write it down because I'm gonna trip over, I'm gonna stammer, and I hate doing that, But I could read it off pretty well. I could do it in a voiceover character, as long as I'm reading it. But then, like you put me in a situation like this, um, I tend to like pause, and like my brain goes faster than my mouth does, and it messes me up. But anyway, um back to the whole music thing. um I do this I do live audio stuff for the most part. I've been toying around with recording ever since, like, way before I was trying to do this like live audio thing. And a buddy of mine, really really awesome, uh really awesome A1, like rock star status. Mike Clovis was like, as I was interning for a recording studio, he just goes, man, you can get you can stay pretty busy, if you can't get into the recording world. While you're trying to do that, you can be pretty busy doing live stuff. And kind of just went with that. And throughout the whole time that I was trying to play in a band, and hopefully be on tour, which fortunately did happen, with the whole Disgorge thing. That's most of you know part of that story. Like, they get, Ed Taylor joins Disgorge, or Disgorge um recruits Ed Talorda. Like, the whole story before that is really like, that was really where I lived, with the local metal, death metal, thrash metal, whatever, like, music scene. Um, it, it was Disgorge was a great way to kind of kick it off before, to finish off that chapter of life before I became a family dude. And But, like, spending decades playing guitar and trying to get into recording and all this other stuff, and trying to be in a scene or whatever. um yeah, my feet are much better on the ground, and focusing on me. Like, if I would have stayed in it, not to say I wouldn't have fun, not to say I don't love my bros, and, like, I would want to be with them and, like, crush every city. But, you know i mean it's a bittersweet thing. It's a bitter trade off. I mean, it's a bittersweet trade off. I mean, like I wouldn't trade my decisions that I've ever made really for the world. I mean, if there was anything that I could do different, is that I wish I would have, um, I wish I would have done a lot of stuff sooner than when I actually did it. You know, but yeah, that's how it goes. Some people make it and can make a living off of it. A lot of people make some living off of it, but they still have to work other jobs. I mean, and some people could take it, some people can't. I'm probably one of those people that can't. So, um, there you have it. I mean, but I always have a seat. I always have a seat playing on the TVV thing. So I try to keep it as close as possible. I've kind of veered away from it for a while, but I've been stepping up and playing some shows with To Violently Vomit. I mean, Diego is one of he's gonna be a lifelong brother. I mean, like all my bros. I mean, like no matter how much we talk or not, um, those are my brothers. Uh, even back in Mortis Terror, even back in like even back in when I was in high school with like Malicious Intent and then Ominous Desolator. Um, you know, I mean like they're all my brothers. I hold my music chapter very dearly, and now that I'm a father and a husband of like 10 years, 11 years, um, I miss the music thing a lot. So I've been taking it up, and like when I'm at home like now and just chilling, waiting to go to a gig or whatever. If I just have free time. My son likes to play VR a lot. Um, so he'll go off into that world. I find myself still going into this world because I'm almost always on a DAW. I'm always downloading stems, or if I go to a live gig, I'll plug in my computer and multi-track. Sometimes I'll add room mics just so I can get the ambience of the room, so I can practice working a room into a mix. Um, and doing videos like this or whatever, maybe it'll get me in a position to. Well, you know what? I don't care what position it gets me into, honestly. Um, I guess I like to share things, and especially for people that are getting into recording, and mixing and stuff like that. Um, I have certain workflows. Everybody has certain workflows. I mean, like, it's like I'm by no means am I a pro, like ultimately a pro at it, but I mean, I do know what I'm doing, and I know what I like to hear, and that's basically what it all boils down to is like, what do you like to hear? What do you want to translate into your project when you listen to it elsewheres? And we go through this battle of trying to like to say tune our room, make everything make everything so that when we like what we hear in our rooms, that we're gonna like where we listen to it, like, so whether it's in our cars or in our, I don't know, sound bars over in the living room or whatever. I mean, I have a two bookshelf speaker little system, and a subwoofer down there. And I mean, like, when you listen to your mix, nobody likes to hear a really, such a sub boomy mix. I do like a full fidelity mix. I tend to mix a little bit on the lower heavy side. So then, a lot of my mixes when I put them in, they'll tend to have a really boomy and like, like bass heavy. So, I mean, like, rather than stick a multi-band compressor over in that range and then duck it down, I'm always trying to like, like hone that specific area so that I still have that full um low end response that works with the midtones, the low midtones, the midtones, high mids and highs, however you break it up into sections. So, I mean, having said that, I did I mix here, right here. This is not an ideal mixing room situation, but I know how it behaves. I have a pretty high ceiling and it's like it is slanted over to a wall. So I mean I do have a lot of reflections in here. So like, like when I mix in with my speakers, I don't excite the room so that, because whether you know it or not, eventually you start to hear things like, like how a sound is going to bounce out from a corner, like a corner, and then hit you. Like you start to notice comb filtering and stuff like that. So like the whole trick to that for me is that I don't excite the room enough that I can hear that stuff. I mean, I have foam on the wall behind me, but I also have this windowsill that has a wall over here. Normally I would put some foam insulation, or like acoustic foam over there to keep that from happening, but I have a cat that's going to tear it up. So uh there's that. So now that I know that I don't do a full 85 decibels of listening in here, I have to cross reference. And when I do that, I mean, I got these LCDXs right here, and basically when I monitor when I build my mixes through these, I get my gain, my initial gain staging. I use these to initially tailor how my kick and bass relationship um work in the project. Um I mean, like there's things I still have to marry my brain into in regarding to using these. So I can get something that I really like to hear, like when I'm in my car, just by using these alone. But I mean, I always cross reference between here and my speakers, and like it gets me to get to know these better. Eventually, like I get to know them better. But I also use uh what's it called, a correction file from Sound ID. So when I go into here, you're gonna see it pop up. Hopefully, just hopefully, it's still okay. I think it's still going to. All right, cool. I'm not recording desktop audio. So okay, so then I go over here, and right now my room correction is I shot my room with like 37 different points, and basically it um it corrects what I need to hear in this spot that I'm listening from. So when I come back over here, these are my EQ curves between my left speaker, which is that brighter purple line, and then the dark purple line is my right speaker. So then it'll apply a calibration, and it's basically a reverse thing here, like a reverse EQ. So basically, the result at my listening spot ends up being this right here. So yeah, I have a little bit of I'm not sure what frequency that is. That's probably like 54, or I don't know, maybe 60, but like whatever dips. And that's the best it could do, which I mean I got used to it. I can pull a mix here, but I think because of my room period, if I don't monitor at a constant level that I know is not going to cause any reflections, because I do fluctuate up and down in volume. So then that might mess me up in my speed and getting something. But I mean, if I try to do the fast mix, like quick decisions, no second guessing, things, don't get too surgical with it. A lot of times, I just get lucky with that, and I have something that I fairly like. But let's see now. I'm gonna put the before and then the calibration here. I mean, target's always gonna be flat, right? But that's what it looks like. You know, if I just do target and then take these off, then target is always going to be flat. You know, it's like I'd like to be able to monitor what would be perceived as flat. So anyway, um I just like this. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to close this out because I don't use sound reference on my native as a native thing because it causes latency, and if I try to record with that it's going to mess me up. So, I'll get into another video regarding that. Anyway, all right, so I won't use these until I get my initial gain stage here. I mean, I did this on a couple other videos. Unfortunately, because I was monitoring through my DAW, um, I'd run into problems. I mean, it's hard to kind of get what you like out of a voiceover mic like this right here. I'm just using a 58. A lot of people will use a SM7B and whatever. But since I'm not monitoring my talk back through my DAW anymore, I do it on Caster, which is this um like desktop mixing console. Um my Cubase, I it allows for you to put a channel for a program. I mean, like I have my iTunes here. I use Biamp effects too, and it allows me to do this here. I can monitor it, which is what I do over here, and then that allows real-time monitoring. I have to set my buffers to really low so that I have the least amount of latency because processing and stuff. I mean, my computer's pretty fast, but there's still a little bit of latency. Um, when I do this, when I basically what happens is when these are red, they're actually muted. So um, everything goes to my monitor and my stream, except for my microphone here, because if I hear myself, then I'm going to stammer because I keep interrupting myself with the latency that happens. So okay, so here I have my whole session dragged and dropped in. I've got all my instruments. I have bass, guitars, vocals. Here I have my crowd mics, where you can see I actually duplicated from here because I wanted to go over my process for whenever I do ambient microphones. I only have one ambient mic on this particular recording. If we had two, then we could spatially make it sound bigger. But since I only have one, the workaround that I have is going to I'm going to walk over how I do this as quick as I can. Um, now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this, and actually going to play this without Angel right now because you'll hear him. It's not going to be entirely flattering like it should be. I'm going to process it. I'm going to go. You'll hear him a little bit later as I process his voice. I mean, like I have a gain issue here. It looks like whoever recorded it had to turn down his vocal gain to get it to match, but it looks pretty consistent throughout over here. Anyway, as we play this as normal as we totally hear it, we're going to hear some flamming in between the direct source signals, and then the ambient mic, because the microphone was probably placed in the middle of the room, maybe over at front of the house where they picked off. So the time that it takes from the PA to emit the sound to where it reaches the front house position, there's going to be a time alignment issue where you're going to hear some comb filtering or slap back, if you want to call it. I mean, like I think if it's slap back, it would be a little bit further, but like, I mean, it's more of a comb filtering effect that you hear. And then I'm going to exhibit that right here. So Um, let's see. You're gonna hear a kick drum right here, right? So, I guess a better example would be right here because I already have it sectioned off when I was aligning it earlier. So, you hear the kick drum and then you hear the slap, which is it's a very bright room, so it was reflecting very largely on that aspect. So, because I didn't shorten at that point in time, I'm not shortened up over here. I need to make room. When we line up, I'm going here. Let me shrink this, and then I'm going to take my kick trigger, and then I'm going to take this ambience, whatever you want to call it, and I'm actually I'm gonna zoom these out. Okay, so where it is over here, I'm going to center it, and then I'm going to enlarge. Okay, so whenever we enlarge our views and stuff like that, it's going to center off the playhead. So I'm going to line that up over here. Okay, it's going to view center it. When I play it, I'm following. So I'm going to shrink it down a little bit so it stays. So as you can see, my transient for my trigger starts here, but then the microphone picks it up over here. So see 236. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know. I don't know if that's okay. So that's clockwise. So you know, I mean milliseconds, right? So over here, I might have shortened it already, but let me check. Okay, I have not shortened it. So what I need to do is to slide it to come sooner, I have to slide it over. So all this stuff doesn't really matter. I can put it wherever I want. And then I'm going to come back over to my hit. Okay. So I'm going to take this, and when I put my cursor over that transient, sometimes you can't really see it move. See, so there's a little bit of comb filtering right there. Right? So I'm going to totally line that up, and you can see it still doesn't line up. So I'm going to take this off of auto scroll so that I can move. All right. So here we go. See, so I'm going to place this. See how much better that sounds, right? Let me do a quick check over here. Yeah. All right, cool. So we're going to go back over to my screen here. So again, see, so there's that little comb filter right there. We want to get rid of that. Boom. All right, so I got them to line up. Now my whole room aligns now. Okay. I can take this and I can make it align now. And I'll put back my scroll. And then, so what I'm going to go to now, so I'm done with aligning that. So I'm going to, I duplicated my other track and then I reset it to 0 just so that I can show you how I deal with these things. Usually I'll have a left and a right microphone. I don't have that here. So like, you know, like when I do that process, I have to do my edits on both tracks. So, okay. Here, I'm going to do this. Oh. All right. So what I'm going to section this off, right? All right. So now Um, I messed up here. And the reason being is because I put my cut right here, right before the count off. And basically, what happens is I um I want to make my cut at right at the downbeat of the song. So that downbeat of the song hits right about here, right? So I'm gonna make a cut here. I'll explain here in a second why. Um, and actually, I could explain it right now. Is I just for time's sake. What happens here is, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna go ahead and do these cuts. So I'm gonna keep it like this because what I'm doing right now, these regions right here with the really loud parts right here. If you notice, what I did over here was it's the same track, but here we have the songs, and then here we have crowd noise and banter in the room. I want those to stay loud because when the song ends, I want to emulate the crowd. Crowd response is big. Um, so if I do that here and leave it, then the song playing is going to be super loud, and it's going to affect mix decisions. And I want to keep those kind of, like I'll add them on last. So I already have some cuts over here. So that's song, and then that's room. So basically, I'm going to snap, which is on Cubase it's J, and I have it to events, which you see how it snaps into place. I'm gonna make a cut right there. Okay. Um, and then over to the next song. So over to the next song here. So I'm gonna insert another cut here. Okay. And then I'm going to go to the end of this track here. And you see how I have another cut here. I'm going to insert another cut there. And then I'm going to call it good just for the sake of this part of the tutorial. What happens here is I'm going to select the song regions, and I'm going to multi-select here, right? And then we have this right triangle icon over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fade it down. Um, and I'm going to fade it down to not the spikes, but like basically more of the room ambience, just so that like I don't know, maybe I will take it up a little bit. I'm going to take it up to the level of these vocals, like the room vocal thing, right? And it's probably better that I slow that. So here's the difference. Stereo out. Okay. Okay, so
can you
here.
turn up the guitar?
I'm gonna do this again.
Monitor?
So I want those to basically kind of be in the same realm. Because if it's up too loud, then like I said, it's gonna affect mix decisions. I mean, I'm gonna add this in lastly, really. But what I'm gonna do here is put a fade. So this little audio icon, when you do that, you can do a fade out or and then a fade in. Okay. Now where it really makes more of a difference, just time, like sound wise, is when we get over here to the start of a song. Okay. You see, you notice that right there? All right, so I'm gonna do the same thing here. All right, so you notice how that cuts in? That's why I put the fade in here. And the reason why that this doesn't matter right now is because the rest of the program, see what I'm saying? So I faded out on the ambient part of it, and then in that way we don't have any like we don't have any jumps in like the crowd ambient volume. Okay, let's see now. Um, so yeah, I mean, like I'll take all these, and then basically it ends up being like this, dude. Like, boom. And the reason why I'm able to do this is because I'm snapping onto events, right? There's a part of gutted, right? Let's see. So then, like this part right here, I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna cut it. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna cut it there, and then basically when I cut it here, I'm gonna grab that and that, and then of course I'm gonna turn it down. I don't remember the number of, okay, minus 485. So when you fade her down, when you fade her down over here, right? I can cut it down, right? And then I just click over where the number is minus 4.85. It'll take both of those down, and then it doesn't affect where you want crowd response to kind of pre like dominate, whatever. I don't know about you want if you want to say dominate, but see that one didn't get turned down, right? So minus 4.85. That's mine. Yeah, you have to kind of play with it and see how you like it. So then again, I'm going to put a fade there, and then I'm gonna put a fade over here, and that way it's nice and seamless, right? Kind of seamless. It just fades out, fades in. I mean, it's weird when you solo it out, but because you have everything going on the mix. I mean, it kind of helps kind of helps keep your attention on the mix more than it does on the ambient side. So that's how that's how I do my ambient mic setup. Okay, so at this point right now, I'm just gonna go ahead and remove this track. Boom. Okay. Did I just mess up? And I'm gonna put it back. Okay. So I'm going to enable this one and select my duplicated one. I'm going to go ahead and remove that. Boom. All right, cool. So now, see, because I already have everything set here, right? I got all my fades and stuff. I'm time aligned. Um, let's go ahead and unlock. I'm going to unlock this guy. Um, then I'm going to keep that there. All right, cool. So I actually better check my alignment on this one because I don't know if I actually aligned the kick. Ah, Oops. Okay. Not really, huh? Because I hear some comb filter in there. All right. So I'm gonna. I need to unlock all these. Actually, no, I don't need to unlock all those. Yeah, I do. Let's go ahead and unlock and select them all. It's gonna make me have to recheck some stuff now. Okay. So there's my there's my live transient. Okay. So then I gotta take this transient line. Actually, let's go like this. Okay. All right, cool. So then this transient here, right? That line right there is the beginning of your transient. So we're gonna line that up here, right? So it appears a little bit offline, but it sounds like one. So that's great. I need to check something over here now. Some place where I have a single. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna select the rest of the. Why do I have such a big gap here? Okay. Ugh. Okay. So I'm gonna put my play line here, right? And I'm gonna line up that play line. Oh, sucks. So I have them already sectioned out. So I just now I'm getting really super OCD about this. All right, cool. Okay, let's lock these again.
This is the first song we ever wrote. This song is entitled
Okay, so
Full Scab.
okay. So I'm gonna reset this EQ. Okay. And this is going to my stereo. Okay, good. All right. So when I'm tuning these out, I want it to sound pretty cool, right? So I'm gonna take my first and fourth parametric band, make them parametric and not shelf. Actually, I'm gonna keep that full range. I'm gonna do parametric little valleys. Okay, so what I'm listening for right there, I'm listening for some mud. Now I'm listening for a little cuppy noise right there. I'm gonna listen for some harsh, and then I'm gonna take my fourth band. So I'm all, you know, I mean, I'm only doing like a 3 dB boost and sweeping just to see what sticks out the most. Let's see, let's take this out. Yeah, a little bit of high pass with the 6 degree slope. So, you know, I mean, I may find myself taking some of those little clickies in there and notching those out, which I'll deploy another parametric a little bit later on down. I mean, I guess I can do it now.
Indulging dismemberment
Okay.
of the mutilating.
Okay. So then, I mean, a lot of people use different EQs. I mean, I actually like this one. I do want to do the split EQ, but I just really need to spend some time on it. But I know this one I can get 24 bands of EQ here. So I'm just trying to soften that clicky. Huh. Okay. So I want it to sound a little bit bigger too, right? So I'm gonna see what I can do with this. Ooh. I like I like bassy, but I'm still trying to learn how to really control it. So, but I think I want my room with some of that. Not too much.
Thank you so fucking much. Indulging dismemberment of the mutilating.
So if you notice, I mean, I took care of my my mid-tony stuff over here, and then I'm trimming out some of the harshes that I'm hearing in the room, and then adding a little bit more body to the room. Trying to anyway. I guess I can do that. So it's a little bit weird practice to do this, but I mean, that's how I deal with my rooms. My EQ curves aren't always the same like that. It really depends on where you put the microphone. All right, cool. All right, so. Stick drop. So embarrassing. This is me on a Mesa dual rec, just straight in. And I don't know why it sounds like that, man. Really, it's like I think my tone knob was all the way down. Anyway, yeah. So don't play drunk. Don't play smashed. Okay, there's Diego. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, because audience perspective, I'm on the left. 64 feels good. Yeah, all bad. That's really embarrassing. So I'm definitely gonna retract. It's for fun, you know. But the only live recording in Europe that I have, and I had to be smashed. Boo. All right. Okay. So then, I'm panning those just because it feels good right now. Let's see. Okay, so in the meantime, for right now, I am going to take. Here, let's talk about the bass for a second. Okay, so when I solo out the bass, I don't know what was up with that either. I don't know if I don't know if the head had compression on it, and then we took the signal post on the head, or if they did that just for, like, I don't know, limiting purposes. But the bass. That's the bass. That's the signal we got from the bass. So, I had set this up. I disengaged it, and that's a little bit more bearable after I did a couple. See, so that was more bearable. I mean, like, honestly, if I go like this and save this preset, NDF bass. All right, and then let's go ahead and do this for fun. I'm gonna reset. Right. See, so that's gnarly. That's a frequency that sticks out with not much EQ. Right. So, I mean, it ended up being something like that, right? But I'm going to go ahead and load this one back. NDF bass. NDF bass. And that's where I feel comfortable right now before I do any more other processing. Not worried about the guitars at all right now. Okay. So what I'm going to get into first is my cymbals, and when I do this, I'm gonna. Okay, apparently they're already linked. Let's unlink them. Let's look at, did I do any EQs here yet? No. Okay, cool. All right, cool. And we are all, let's go to stereo. They're supposed to be there already. I had to restart, and I had them already grouped when I was trying to do this tutorial, but you know, I'm starting over. So
this next song is entitled Deranged Epidemic.
okay. Played it already. Yeah. I got the Panner's bypass right now. So I think they were all 81s. Okay, cool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to link all these for whatever for processing in my EQ. Call that good. All right. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to high pass everything. Okay. And then I'm going to take my first parametric band. Okay, second. Now my third, which is going, you know, that second one was like kind of a low cuppy thing. So that's the next frequency that bugs me. And lastly, for my parametric side, I'll do something like this. Okay, so because I linked them all, they should have all the same. Okay, cool. So look at right here. Hat, overhead left, overhead right. Okay. That's actually the curve that I ended up coming up with. So I'm going to put it all there, NDF symbols, and even that to my hat. Okay.
Give a round of applause for all the bands that played tonight. Come on. This next song is entitled Deranged Epidemic.
So that's how I initially do my initial EQ stage. That's how I want to hear it, right? So when we put our solos, no, we're not in solo mode anyway. So okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a group track. Oh, here, before I do that, I'm going to bypass. I'm going to go with my, I'm going to go ahead and just pan these. So left, right, audience perspective. I got the hat a little bit to the left, because I mean typically when we're like the microphone to your right when you're looking at the hat could be wideband, but I'm just structuring it and how I feel it should be. Okay, so now I'm going to add a group channel, group track, and I'm going to name it Symbols. Okay. So all of these, when you choose add selected track, add group track to selected tracks, it will automatically assign them. If you just put add group track, you're just going to have a group with nothing going to it, and then you have to go like this. So that's your output, and then you have to select symbols or stereo bus, stereo out, whatever. So that's the quicker way to do that. And seeing as I feel it's natural and pretty mixed, the hat's not overbearing the cymbals and stuff like that. There's a dynamic to it, so you can hear it when he's actually laying into a cymbal hit. Any processing after that I'm gonna do over here in the cymbal group. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead. I don't want to touch these anymore, so I'm just gonna hide these tracks. It doesn't hide them here. I'm actually going to lock these so I don't accidentally make any adjustments. So I'm going to see if I can hide these tracks, hide selected tracks. Okay. So now everything I do here, because I already know I'm going to make my adjustments, all as one. So I might as well just keep them on a group. That's should be okay with me. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and bleed these in. So that's the mic on the kick drum. There's a lot of bleed. I'm not sure which mic they used on there. D112, maybe Beta 52, right at the hole. But he's not hitting very hard. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get rid of this. I'm gonna get rid of this guy. Remove selected track. Boom, boom. Okay, and then I'm just gonna rely on the trigger, which, okay, DM5. I'm not sure which one. Probably Speed Metal. But I'm gonna structure my game here. So. See how that sits in my stereo bus right now. Okay, cool. So here I am. I'm using the line roll for myself. Okay. And then I'm going to go over to a tom roll. So there's a lot of tom bleed there. And that could be a result of maybe his floor monitor, right? So I'm not gonna worry about that just yet, but I just to make myself aware that it's there. Okay. Three toms. Let's see. So I think on this set, that's going to be the loudest that you're going to hear him hit his toms. Maybe on Abhorrent. I'm going to bring up the floor tom to 0. For fun, let's do this. Okay, so looking at a drummer, his left tom would be our right, and then his right tom would be our left. And then floor tom, I could do this, but I feel like because it's supposed to be a lower sounding instrument, and more encompassing, I'm gonna just pan it a little bit to the left center. Okay, so those tom hits are going to be coming in about -6, right? So now let's, along with that, let's go ahead. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just bring up the snare a little bit to 0. I think the snare can come up a little more. Another dB&1/2. Okay. Okay, now. What was that anyway? I have a feeling he might have hit the mic there. Let's see. Let's do snare. Let's see what happens there. Is a stick drop. So, oops. You gotta love running into clubs. That's a blooper right there. So what I'm gonna do there is I'm gonna cut here, and then I'm gonna cut here, right? Then I'm gonna zoom. Okay, so now we're not scrolling. Now I'm gonna go over to the select tool. And then I'm just going to take that out. Yeah, let's just take it out. where you can't hear it. You can take it out all the way if you want, really. No one's really gonna matter. But it's not there now. Alright. Okay. Okay, bringing the bass in. Okay, so at 0, I really don't like gaining up past 0. I mean, like I made the exception here on the snare, but when I unsolo this, I do want it to stick out a little bit more. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select this track, and I'm gonna give it like 3 dB. Oh shit, 3 dB. Like that yet. So I'm gonna give it a 5. So this direct offline processing is a pretty cool feature because it'll help you structure your gain before you start going into processors and moving faders and stuff like that. Okay. Let me get rid of some harsh. So I'm going to go parametric here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this value, put it here, copy this value, put it here, copy this value, and then paste here. And then I'm going to turn it on, turn off number 2, go 0, flatten that out, okay, and then I'm going to move this over here. Of legible or audible. Okay, for fun now, I'm going to add guitars in. Keep on disappearing this. This is really bad, dude. Like, alright, so now I'm just going to mute this full stop. And then I'm going to center Diego's guitar. And then I'm going to go ahead and just disable this. I'm not going to need it ever again. And I'm drafting a practice thing, and then I'm going to record. Okay, so now let's get into this ambience thing. Okay. Um. So this ambient mic, I'm gonna place this into my NDF room spatial, right? So I took it out of my stereo bus, routed it in here, which is routed into my stereo bus. So nothing's changed once I did that, except for the signal is going into here next. Okay. Okay, so now you hear it now. I'm gonna apply mono to stereo. So what you should have heard was a spatial widening by me doing that. It's a little artifacty because of the processing. Hopefully it's not so noticeable once we get it in the mix, but to make it hopefully sound bigger is to do that. Actually, I am not going to do this. I'm going to keep this in stereo. Okay. And instead of that, what I'm going to do is take my ambience mic, and here I've already got it assigned. So what I'm just going to take an aux send over to here. And then
how many fucking True Discord fans do we have in this fucking room? That's what we fucking love to hear. Want to spin his next song now? I don't know where the fuck he's at. He's probably. I don't know where he's at right now. But
okay, cool.
The big Discord fan. There he is. Indulging dismemberment of immediately.
Okay, that's wet. I'm actually gonna keep it completely wet. Okay, so I'm gonna bleed this in. Okay, so now I think, let's see, because I've already EQ'd it out right now, and then I've also applied that EQ. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the actual ambience track, and I'm going to, I like this purple 77, right? And I'm going to bring it up. I'm actually going to go 8 to 1. And I'm going to hit the compressor with it. That's a lot, but it's kind of low, so okay, so now I'm going to take the solo off. Okay, so monitoring more of my meter here, right? Because I want to try to keep as much headroom before 0 as possible. Alright, so here's our intro tracks. I'm actually going to give it a 5 dB gain. See, so now we got that mono mic. It kind of sounds like there's people like, you know, on left and right now. And that was the whole point. That's really the whole point of this particular video. Really though? You know, because I only pulled a mono track out of this guy, right? So in all essence, we can try this real quick. I'm gonna send it over to the spatial. We'll try that again, you know. Okay. That worked actually. Now let's see what happens for this one. I'll probably trim and adjust volumes.
You guys remember, guys? Fuck shit up, okay?
Okay, cool. So you know, I done crushed it. I done crushed my my ambient mic. So it's, you know, basically the same volume. Here. Yeah. So, yep, there it is right there.
You guys want
Prepped.
one more song?
Done prep my session here for, you know, my gain stage, including my ambient stuff. So adjustments will come again, once again. You know, let's see. Let's hear it with a vocal.
Song? You guys better fucking show that you guys want this song, alright?
Okay, so now, earlier I addressed this whole gain thing. I like, you know, they turned the gain down like at the very beginning of the set, right? So they hear. Okay, so what I'm going to do there is, because everything from Here, let me shrink this down, and then let's go ahead and zoom view on the vocal. Okay, so you see how much louder it is here. That means that he didn't the engineer that tracked this, he probably didn't touch his gain. Like as soon as that happened right there, he's like, oh shit, so he did a kind of a panic adjust there, and then just rode with it the whole way, which is really cool because I mean, if you got a live engineer that's tracking it, or if you're doing it yourself, you don't want to be reaching for your gain um on your desk all the time, especially if you're tracking, because you're gonna get jumps in volume, right, in your gain staging. And I am fortunate, and I've learned myself um to not do this through you know some experience. um so now, I mean, you don't want to do it anyway, and especially if you are mixing monitors and front house from the same desk, because like when you touch your gains and stuff like that, you're gonna have musicians be like, "Hey, man, it's too loud, or I can't hear it anymore. I heard it perfect. I heard it perfect before." Um, it is almost possible that he might have turned it up here, and over here, and then again over here, and then over here. It's possible that he did that. Let's see. But that doesn't bother me. Okay, so that's pretty much where I would want it to sit, because I'm gonna crush his vocal anyway. Um, but I'm not gonna do that in the session, because if I start it, then I'm gonna be getting all super OCD, and I'm gonna save that for another video. So however long this video is, let's see how long I've. Okay, so I got an hour 7 on this segment, plus from the cut from the other one that I bantered for about like a half an hour. Um, I think this should be good enough for now. Thanks for watching. And I really hope I do run into people that are watching this, that are into this kind of thing. Um, but I mean, most of you guys know me as a guitarist, and thanks for the years of support and whatever. I mean, like, the friendships. It's it's been fun. I mean, I'm still around. I mean, I still listen to stuff. I mean, I'm not really caught up on any of, like, a lot of the newer bands and stuff, but you know, I mean, if you got a band that's doing recordings, if you're recording yourself, or if you go to studios and say you want to track over there but you want to mix elsewhere, I'm here. Let me know, and we'll work out rates and stuff like that. Yeah, I'd like to help. I'd like to help, and you'll be helping me. And maybe I can feature your project on one of these streams. Of course, I'll wait until your project is released, but at least I'll be able to get content here. And this is also teaching me how to, like, edit streams and stuff like that. Maybe at some point in time I'll get to a point where I could actually do a live mix stream. Um, of course, with somebody's permission to use their material. Um, and just have fun, man. Like, really, I mean, I'm all in the box, dude. I don't own any outboard gear yet. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But anyway, have a good one, guys, and see you soon.